Let's see. Got my Christmas hat. That's my tie. Missing that. Comb my hair. What time are we at? Jeez, I'm running behind. Down here. Tie adjusted. Oh!
Seriously, Dad?
Sorry, kiddo. Thank you. Just running a little bit behind. Besides, I'm sure I interrupted something monumental.
Whatever, Dad.
Worked for Steve the past couple weeks. Trying, having a losing battle with my shoes. Hey, have you seen my,
Don't forget your speech notes.
Wonderful, thank you.
And your suit jacket.
Perfect. And last thing, I need my,
Your Christmas hanky.
see, I thought this was my tie.
Okay. So, kids, aren't you guys really excited for Dad?
Hey,
Hello?
Hey, don't you have someplace to be?
You need to settle down now.
Guys, come on. It's the Christmas season, and your dad is getting a really big award tonight.
Woohoo, yeah.
Ow.
Can we get our phones back now?
Seriously, Gina? Your dad is getting the award for Employee of the Year at his company out of the entire North American division.
That's right, and that also equals a pretty big bonus, baby. Ha ha! We can get some pretty awesome Christmas gifts with that this year. I mean, think about it. There's got to be a new system, video games, cell phone, tablet, computer. After this party, kids, we'll go check out Santa and see if we can get on the nice list and get some good Christmas gifts this year. What do you say?
JJ?
What'd I say? What'd I do?
It's not about what you did do, Dad. It's about what you didn't do.
What are you talking about,
And
G?
by the way, if you see Santa, tell him we'll take a dad that's around enough to make one of my volleyball games. Or better yet, maybe one of JJ's band concerts. Did you even know he got Student Musician of the Year?
You know, I got a phone call from your mother in the school, but I was in a meeting and
Probably not. Have fun doing your thing, Dad.
Joey, I'm so sorry. They just miss you.
I do all of this for them.
I know.
The long hours, the travel.
I get it, but they just miss you.
I mean, there's traveling teams, practices, sporting equipment, music equipment. I mean, do they think this is all free?
No, of course not. They just want you to be around more.
I don't understand. It seems like the harder that I work to keep this family connected and together, the more disconnected we get.
Let's go, Joseph. You've got a big night tonight. You're gonna have a good time. Christmas will be here before you know it. The kids will love it. They'll be fine. Come on, we've gotta go.
I love this picture, you guys. Fun times. Well, Merry Christmas to me, I guess.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents under the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. a place I love even more than I usually do. And although I know, oh, it's a long road back, I promise you that I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents under the tree. Oh, Christmas Eve will find me where the low light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Oh, I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Merry Christmas, y'all.
So you guys ready for Christmas now or what? If that song doesn't put you in the Christmas mood, I don't know what will. So, have you guys thought about what you're looking forward to this Christmas season? What is it about Christmas that excites you? What is it about Christmas that makes you happy, that you anticipate? I know that I have a lot of memories of Christmas as a kid, and things were a little bit different for me then than they are now, obviously. But on Christmas Eve, we would go and spend some time with a friend or a church family member and have dinner together usually. And then when we got home on Christmas Eve, my two younger sisters and I would get to pick one small gift from under the tree, and we would open that. And we would kind of start Christmas, but not too much, to kind of leave the big anticipation for the next morning. And so we would open a small gift, and then we would go to bed. And I had trouble sleeping, because I was so excited. And then I was always the first one up in the morning. I know those of you that know me think that's probably pretty much impossible. But I was the first one up in the house, and I would wake my sisters up sometimes 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, long before the sun got up. And then we would go into my parents' room, and we would wake them up. And my dad would make us stay in their room until he went downstairs and turned all the Christmas lights on and had Christmas music playing, and everything just had to be just right. And we would wait with anticipation, and sometimes it would take a couple minutes, and sometimes he would drag it out and, build the anticipation. And so we would go down the stairs, with this sense of wonder and expectation of what to expect. And so we would open gifts together, and sometimes there would be something that was hidden or some kind of clues that you had to put together, and it was a little bit of an experience. And we would eat breakfast together, usually cinnamon rolls or something unhealthy, right? And then we actually did, our Christmas service was Christmas Day or Christmas morning, about 10 o'clock in the morning. We didn't do Christmas Eve. And my dad would give a message of the Christmas story. We would sing Christmas carols, usually just with the piano, very simple. And then we would go home and eat lunch together. And Christmas afternoon was the day that we called family members, because we didn't live close to any of our family members. We were probably 3 or 4 hours from the closest family members. And those of you that are, 20 or younger, probably don't think this is a big deal. But when I was a kid, long-distance phone calls were really expensive. You didn't have cell phones with free long distance. And so we didn't talk to grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins very often. And so Christmas Day was one of those days that you called everybody and got to talk to them and be connected with them. And then after that, we would probably go to another friend's or family member's house, and you would be excited and share what you got for Christmas, and you would play with each other's toys. And just that for that 2 days, you felt connected to a bunch of people. And it was more than just the gifts, because honestly, there's probably 2 or 3 gifts that I got as a kid that I can tell you about. Most of them I don't remember, because it was more about the experience and the togetherness than it was about what I got. And so now that I'm a parent, Christmas obviously takes on a little bit of a different significance. It's fun to make it special for the kids, but there's a lot of work that goes into it that as a kid, I had no idea all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. And so as I was finishing my message on Friday, I came across this article on this website, 538, and it shared a survey that Pew Research Center had done, and they asked Americans what they liked most about the holiday season. And I thought it was pretty interesting. Being with people that they care about was at the top of the list, as I think that should be pretty high. 69% of people said they most enjoy time with friends and family. 11% said they most look forward to religious reflection. And 7% said that their favorite thing is people are happy and joyful. I think those 7% probably don't do any of their own Christmas shopping, right? And don't encounter the rest of us. Contrast that to the minute 1% of Americans that cite shopping as the thing they look most forward to. 1%. In fact, Americans' top 3 answers for what they least like about the season involve purchases. 33% of respondents listed commercialism and materialism as their primary dislike. Financial worry was number 2 on the naughty list, with 22% of people saying it's the worst part of the holidays. Now, I promise you I am not here to give a message on money this weekend. Steve covered that last weekend. But I have to say this because it's Christmas time, and I find it kind of strange when people come January and they get a credit card bill in the mail that has all their Christmas purchases, like they're surprised and didn't know that this was coming, right? So here's the deal. I mean, people that are in this situation, you set a number, and this is what we're going to spend, and this is what we have, and then when we're done, that's it. It doesn't have to come and haunt you in January. When the holiday's over, the holiday should be over. Second pet peeve when it comes to Christmas. You see these car commercials with Santa Claus in them, and Santa leaves a set of keys to a new car under the tree, right? And this shiny new car is out in the driveway with a bow on it. And then at the end of the commercial, it tells you that it's only $4.99 a month or $5.99 a month or whatever it is. Santa Claus does not bring new cars and leave you with monthly payments. I'm just saying, that's not how Santa Claus rolls, okay? All right, third and final one. 10% of people cited shopping and crowds as their least likely favorite thing, as their least favorite thing about the Christmas holiday. But the question is, do people put their minutes where their mouths are? Do we actually spend our holidays on things that make us happy? And if not, what are we doing with our time? And so they went on to survey and ask some more questions. And here's kind of the summary of how they found that people spend their time at the holiday season. They found that there are slightly more volunteers during the holiday season, but the amount of time spent volunteering actually decreases. They found that most people spend less time eating and socializing with their friends and family, which is what they say is at the top of their list. Interestingly, they found that women double the amount of time that they spend with their parents. Now, guys, I don't know if that's a good thing for you or not, if your wife spends more time with your in-laws, but if they're cooking together, that's a good thing, right? So what you're saying right there is no responses. My wife and my mother-in-law can't cook. All right, I'll leave that one alone. Everyone, especially women, significantly increase the time they spend shopping and decorating. And for women, on each day that they go shopping, the amount of time that they spend shopping doubles. I'm just letting that one sink in for a minute, ladies. Involvement in religious activities doesn't vary very much between the holidays and the rest of the year. 7% of men and 11% of women say they participate normally. And for those folks, there's no significant there's no significant change in the amount of time spent. Among individuals who do not regularly attend religious services, only 10% say they look forward to attending religious activities during the holiday season. And we wonder why we get frustrated with the commercialism and the materialism, because we've completely missed the point and what it's all about. So at the end of the day, we found that Americans spend increased time on stressful activities they claim to dislike and decreased time spent on activities they say that make them happy. And there's a relationship between these changes. When the data is explored to see how the different activities are related to each other, it becomes clear that increases in time spent shopping are directly correlated to decreases in time spent eating and socializing with friends and neighbors. People are not spending more time on both, but they're really choosing one over the other. And they choose to spend more time doing the things they dislike rather than spend time doing things that they do like. So to fix this problem, this morning we're going to turn to the Word of God, and we are going to look at a passage of Scripture that is going to help us make Christmas better for everyone around us. You guys good with that? We're going to look at the words of Jesus that he shared with his disciples. Now, Christmas is all about Jesus. I think we kind of know that, but sometimes we kind of lose the focus of that. And the words and teachings of Jesus as an adult, away from the Christmas season as we would refer to it, are very relevant for this time of year. But sometimes there seems to be a disconnect between the baby Jesus that we celebrate Christmas and the birth and all those things, and Jesus as the Lord, as the teacher, as the leader. And if you've seen the movie Talladega Nights and you've seen the dinner prayer scene, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Now, for those of you that have watched the movie, you need to repent, because you don't actually have to watch the movie to see that, because it's in the trailer, okay? I'm just saying. But the deal is this, is that it's not just Hollywood that has trouble connecting the different types of Jesus. There are others. Check out this video and we're going to continue in just a minute.
I wonder what it would be like to be born in a manger.
Yeah. Wonder whatever happened to baby Jesus.
He grew up.
What? Wait. So you're saying that the baby Jesus Christmas story is the same as the adult walk on water Jesus?
Yeah. Thanks, honey.
Wow, I just never really put the two concepts together. Wonder what happened to that guy, huh?
He went to the cross.
That's the same guy?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is baby Jesus is the same as cross Jesus?
Yeah. I mean, there's some time in there, right? I mean, he grew up, he taught people, he lived a perfect life. He died on the cross and came back to life, and, now he lives in our hearts.
That's the same guy? The Jesus that lives in our hearts? Okay, I was really... Oh, wow. Okay, I never really put all those guys together,
Only one guy.
I tell you this, here's an idea. Maybe we stop just making Christmas all just this once-a-year isolated thing, but we make it an ongoing story about the salvation in our hearts and lives. Up top.
That's the idea.
Did anybody just learn something? All right, so you guys ready? All right, we are going to jump into John chapter 15. John chapter 15. And if you don't have a Bible with you, there are Bibles under the seats. If you don't own a Bible, we encourage you to take that home. It's our gift to you, because we believe that everybody should have access to the Word of God and to read it on a daily basis. And so if you have one of those Bibles in the seats, we're going to page number 737. Page 737, John chapter 15. And we're going to start in verse 5. And these verses that we're going to look at actually are a few verses right in front of one of the verses that Ricky shared with us this morning that said in John 15:13, no greater love hath a man than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. And so we're going to look at the words of Jesus as he was getting ready to tell his disciples that and what he was about to do for them. So, John chapter 15, starting in verse 5. Jesus said, I am the vine, and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you'll remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. Now, you're probably thinking, what does that have to do with Christmas, right? So here's the thing. We can relate it this way. We can think about Jesus being the vine and connect that vine to Christmas lights. Because lights are pretty much a standard symbol of Christmas, right? We put lights on trees, we put lights on our windows, we put lights on plants, we put lights everywhere, because if you are decorating for Christmas, you're putting up lights. Am I right? And so here's the thing. All of these bulbs on a light are stranded together. They're connected, they're plugged in. And the deal is this, is that they have to be connected to a power source to shine any light or to do any good, right? And so the power source is God. And I know some of you are thinking, I got a bum set of lights, right? Only half of it works. But if the strand is not connected, a vine can't grow without roots, right? Lights cannot shine light without power. And so Jesus is the strand, and what we are is we're like a light bulb. And by ourselves, a light bulb doesn't do anything, does it? You can have all the light bulbs you want, and they don't shine or produce any light unless they're connected to a wire, unless they're connected to the strand and to the power source. And what happens is when we try to do life on our own and we get caught up in things and we're busy and we're doing our own thing and stranded by ourselves, we're no good to anybody, not even ourselves. But if we are intentional and focused about being plugged in, then not only do we get lit up, but we fix the rest of the strand. When we are connected and we are plugged in, we are a light. Our purpose shows forth, but guess what? We help other people around us to be better. And so the question for us as we start this Christmas season is, will we be stranded on an island by ourselves and separated from everyone and everything? Or will we allow ourselves to be stranded together for the good of ourselves and the good of others? And we're going to talk about why that is in just a minute. It's easy to get busy. It's easy to become disconnected or to become unplugged. But here's the thing. Jesus said, I just want you to be plugged into me. I want you to remain in me. And he uses the word remain several times in this passage. And here's what that means. To remain means to stay in the same place or with the same person or group. And what Jesus is saying to us is, I just want you to stay here with me. That's it. That's all I'm asking. He's the power source. A lot of times we feel like we have to work so hard, we have to generate the power. And we can't do any of it. Jesus says, you get plugged into me, you get connected with me, I will generate the power to allow you to do what you do. And so, as we talk about resting and remaining in Jesus, we're going to talk today about what happens when we get plugged in and when we remain with Jesus. So if you've got your hand out and you're taking notes, we're going to start with number one. The benefits of being plugged into Jesus are this. Number one, our prayers are more effective. How many could use a little bit more effective prayer? Jesus said in verse 7, if you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. And here's what I think happens. When we spend more time with Jesus, we become more aware of what's more important. And I think our prayers change. I think we start to pray prayers for things that are important and things that matter, rather than some of the prayers that we pray that might be selfish, or some of the things that might be a little bit frivolous and don't really matter. And so I think having our priorities in order, I think helps us with our prayer life. The second thing that I think happens with that is that we struggle sometimes to get answers and clarity from God. We struggle sometimes to get direction on making a decision on where I'm supposed to go. But I know this, when you are distracted and you're busy and you're caught up in all kinds of stuff, it's hard to hear things clearly. Guys, when your wife asks you to have a conversation and you're watching TV, you feel torn, don't you? Do I listen to what she has to say and respond? But at the same time, I'm going to miss whatever I'm watching, right? And you have to choose. And I can tell you this, I'm not very good at it. But most of us have TVs now that we can pause live TV, and you can hit the pause button, and you can wait. And if you listen and are connected with your spouse in that conversation, and I'm not picking on guys, this goes both ways, but when we are connected and we eliminate the distractions and we hear what the other person has to say and respond intelligently, we have clearer communication and we have clearer focus and direction in our relationship. If we're willing to put aside some of the noise and the distractions. The same thing is true with our relationship with God. It's easy to be busy doing all kinds of stuff, listening to all kinds of stuff, but sometimes we just need to push pause on all of those things and stop and focus. And when things are quiet, it's amazing how much clearer the answers become, how much clearer the direction that we're looking for becomes. Number 2, second benefit of being plugged into Jesus is that we are more fruitful. I know most of us probably could stand to be a little more fruitful, am I right? Jesus said this, that God is glorified when we are fruitful. So here's what happens. He said in verse 8, "This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples." Fruit is the evidence of our faith. And so here's what happens when we are more fruitful. Number 1, we're better people, right? Number 2, people around us get to enjoy and benefit from that. But ultimately, God is glorified when we are more fruitful. And Steve started to talk about this a little bit last week in the fruit of the Spirit. In Galatians 5 lists the fruit of the Spirit as what? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. How many of us could use a little more of those things at the Christmas season? Am I right? We see a lot of marketing and a lot of good things. We even sing some of the songs. But we see advertisements that talk about spreading joy to the world, right? Or peace on earth. Or Christmas is all about loving people that you're close to. Those are secular marketing techniques, and those are good things. But here's the thing. Those 3 things are the first 3 fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, and peace. But they don't know where it comes from. And so we have all this effort that we work on. We need to spread joy to the world, and we need to bring peace on earth, and we need to do this, and we need to do that. But we're not very good at it. And I think a lot of times at the holidays, we're worse at it than we are at other times of the year. When we're standing in a line, and it takes forever for the person in front of us to check out, are we very joyful? No, we're usually pretty stressed, right? And it probably shows on our face. Or maybe we're annoyed and impatient in traffic, and we're missing the peace. We feel frustrated and irritated. Or maybe we're impatient and short with the people that we love and care about instead of loving them. And the world tries to say we need these things, but guess what? They don't know where they come from. And once we become connected to Jesus, the model of these things, we become more loving. We experience more peace. We're more joyous. I know that sometimes when we're out shopping, we could stand to be a little more kind, right? Or a little more patient. Or maybe when it comes to Christmas cookies and desserts, we could use a little more self-control. Am I right? Or am I just speaking to me? But when we do those things, when we are connected and we become more fruitful, we glorify God, we become better ourselves, and we make things better for those around us. Number 3, when we are plugged into Jesus, we demonstrate our devotion to Jesus. Our devotion to Jesus looks like discipleship. And here's what Jesus said in verse 9. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. Jesus asks us to remain in his love. He says, I want you to stay here. I want you to rest in this. And here's the thing. When you love somebody, you do things for them, right? The more that we stay in Jesus' love, the more we experience what he has done for us. And because we are aware of what he's done for us, it should make us want to do things for him. And if we call ourselves followers of Christ, then who should we look like? Christ. If you go to a doctor that's been trained and certified and you're sick, what do you expect them to do? Things that a doctor would do and treat you, right? And if they don't treat you, you think the guy's a fraud or a phony. And so we have a lot of things that we get trained in and we get certified to do, and so you act according to what you have become or what your title is. And so if we call ourselves followers of Christ, then we should look like, we should model and exemplify Christ. This Christmas season, you know, people tend to be a little bit more open to hearing the message of Jesus or what Christmas is all about. And so there's opportunities to share maybe a little bit more with family members or friends or maybe strangers that you come in contact with that you normally wouldn't get those opportunities at other times of the year. But here's the thing. Words only go so far. If you talk about Jesus being loving and kind and patient and he can give you peace, but you're exhibiting stress, maybe you're compromising your integrity and you're doing what you can to get ahead and to satisfy your desires, and you compromise on those things, people are going to stop listening. And so we have an opportunity not only to speak with our words, but to speak with our actions and put it all together. And that is a beautiful thing. And what happens is when we keep Jesus' commands, we model God for other people and we model his love, and we have an opportunity to be a witness for him. And I'm not talking about a bunch of works and trying to just do good. But here's what happens. These things should naturally happen for us as a byproduct of just being connected and being close to Jesus. It should just naturally, we should naturally desire and want to do those things. All right, lastly, the fourth benefit of being plugged into Jesus is that our joy becomes full. How many of us need more joy at Christmas and the rest of the year, right? We probably have a lot of people around us that you could say, you need a little bit more joy. Jesus said in verse 11, I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be full. Or complete in the NIV. And here's the thing. We all want joy at Christmas time. And so we watch feel-good movies that make us happy, right? We buy gifts for other people and we give, and that brings us joy. For some of us, it's receiving a gift from somebody that brings us joy. Some of us have a problem that when we go shopping for other people, we have to buy something for ourselves because that makes us happy, right? But the deal is this, is that we do those things and it doesn't last. Or we have a big get-together and we have people come over and we cook, and you know, we feel good while people are around, and then everybody leaves and we have to clean up the mess. And not only is the joy gone, but it took a little extra with it while we're stuck cleaning up the mess, right? Because those things don't bring long-lasting joy. Jesus said, I want you to have joy and I want your joy to be full. But the way that you have full and complete joy is that my joy is in you. The only way that we'll have a joy that lasts is from Jesus. It's being connected to him and experiencing his eternal joy. That's the only way that we experience it. All those other ways that we get joy are temporary and fading. So you have to ask yourself this Christmas season, will I allow myself to be caught up in the busy, unnecessary, unimportant things and truly miss what's important? Or will I be connected and focus on the things that really are important? And sometimes we get caught up in doing things for the people we love rather than being with the people that we love. And I know that that's a struggle for me because I am a task guy. I'm a doer. I have checklists and I like to check things off my list. I like to accomplish things because I feel good and I can say I did this for this person and I did this and I'm providing this and I fixed this or whatever it is. When sometimes what we just need to do is just be with the person. And the same thing is true of our relationship with God. Sometimes we get busy and caught up in helping others, and I'm doing this for you, God, and I'm creating all this stuff and I'm doing all this stuff, and we miss the point and we don't spend time with Jesus. Jesus went to visit two friends Mary and Martha. And while he was there, Mary sat at his feet and talked with him and listened to him. And Martha was busy running around making sure the food was perfect. Everything was clean and neat and tidy. And then she got frustrated because her sister didn't help her. And she asked Jesus to correct Mary. And Jesus said to Martha, "You've missed the point. Mary has chosen the thing that's most important. She is just here and she is just being with me." And all the busyness and good stuff that you do sometimes gets in the way of the relationship. And I don't think necessarily that our intentions are bad, but I think sometimes we just can become a little bit misguided, or things are a little bit misplaced, and we get bombarded by advertising and marketing and other people telling us what they think is important and what we should be doing with our time and where we should be going and all these things, that we listen to those things rather than what we know is the simple, important things. The study that I shared with you earlier also said this, and I want you to hear this. Spending time with people that we feel connected to can cause increases in serotonin, which is the happiness hormone. There's a chemical reaction that happens in our minds and our bodies when we spend time with people that we're connected to, that naturally makes us happy. The nerve-wracking aspects of holiday preparations and obligations can actually heighten levels of cortisol, which is the stress-causing hormone. And so we talk about the things that we like and that we enjoy, and those are things that bring us happiness, and instead we do things that cause us stress. Is that by design? Is it by design that being with people we feel connected to makes us happy? I think it is, because I believe that God created us for relationship. First priority is we were created for a relationship with God. We were created to be in relationship with others. I don't think it's a coincidence that we feel that happiness factor when we are connected with others, because I believe that that's what we are designed to do. Now, people around us will let us down, and there's moments where we don't feel connected and those things are gone. And honestly, we do things ourselves that we let other people down. But the truth is that when we're plugged into Jesus and that ultimate relationship that we're designed to do, that's where true happiness and joy comes from, because that's how we were created. So will you stay connected this Christmas season? What will you connect with? Or more importantly, who will you connect with? And here's the thing with connection. Nobody else can do it for you. Nobody can plug you in. You have to choose. You have to choose to be connected. You have to choose what you will be connected with. And so as we bring this home today, I want to share with you 3 people or groups of people that I believe that we need to be connected to during this Christmas season. And the first is this: we need to be connected to Jesus. Bottom line. That is the relationship that gives us eternity. That is the relationship that gives us long-lasting joy. That is the one who understands and knows what we're going through. And here's the deal. Jesus is what Christmas is all about. This Jesus is the Jesus that was born in the lowliest of conditions with the animals in a stable. This guy that was born at Christmas is the Jesus who was rejected by the people in his hometown. He's the Jesus that was betrayed by one of his closest friends. The Jesus who was wrongly accused and beaten. The Jesus who was put to death for wrongs that he didn't commit. And he's the same Jesus that rose from the grave and conquered death and hell. And so I don't know where you are today. I don't know what you're feeling, maybe what you're going through, what you're struggling with. But this I know. Jesus understands. He's been rejected, betrayed, humiliated. I'm sure he felt alone. And so whatever it is that struggle for you, I encourage you to connect with Jesus, because he understands and knows what it is that you're going through. The second group of people that we need to be connected with is family. Be connected to those that are closest to you. You know, you can be near somebody but not be connected to them. And all too often we experience that. We're close to somebody, but I don't feel connected to them. Because you have to choose to be connected. And parents, let me tell you this. Sometimes it's easier for us to work hard to provide what we think our kids need because we want to give them good things, and that's not bad. And we want to give them the best Christmas that we can give them. We want to give them the best gifts. But in reality, the best gift that your kids need is you. It's not about the stuff. It's not about how much money can buy, and if I work harder and I do this and I do more and I give more, your kids want you. Your kids want to spend time with you. And maybe you've got aging parents that need a little bit of extra time. We all have family members that we are the best gift for them. But we have to be intentional about connecting with them. And sometimes Christmas is a struggle to be connected with family. For some people, they do these big family things and everybody gets along and everything's good and everybody's happy and we're together and we're family. And then there's other people that when they think of the thought of connecting and getting together with family, it causes grief or stress or chaos because there's strained or broken relationships. And some of you guys experience that, and that may be a dread that you're not really looking forward to this Christmas season. Some of us need to take the opportunity to forgive. Maybe there is that relationship that's broken, and it's time that you say, you know what? I need to let go of some things. I need to let go of the grudge that I'm holding on to. I need to forgive this person. Or maybe you're the person that's caused a grievance and you need to make it right. Christmas is a good time for a healing conversation. It's a good time for us to be Jesus to our family members. And I know that when we get together at the holidays, sometimes it brings out the craziness in people, right? And everybody has a crazy family member, right? If you don't think you have a crazy family member, you probably are the crazy family member. I'm just saying. Some of you guys don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. We all have crazy. All right, number 3, last thing. We need to be connected to other followers of Jesus. We need to be connected to other people that believe the same way that we do. We need to connect with other people that are connected to Jesus. Because here's the thing, when you do things together, you're encouraged. It creates motivation. And I'm going to challenge you. You need to be consistent in your church attendance. And I know I'm stepping on some toes, but here's the thing. It's hard to be connected with somebody when you see them once a month or every 6 weeks or however often it is that you come. And I'm not saying that to criticize or to condemn anybody, but here's the thing. You need to be plugged in. And I think that's a good place to start. I think you need to be involved in a small group and do life with a small group of friends that you can talk and have difficult conversations with. I think it's important to go out and have coffee or lunch with somebody because we all need to be encouraged. We all need to be supported. We all need sometimes to be challenged and for somebody to speak truth to us. But this is not just about a me thing, because I believe that when you come to church, when you're involved in a small group, when you go and hang out with somebody, I believe that you have something to offer them. You have a word that can encourage somebody. You have a smile that can brighten somebody's day. I know we did something that was very simple earlier, but we all shared something that we were thankful for. How good did it make you feel to say something that you were thankful for? But also, how did it make you feel to hear somebody else say that they were thankful for something? Something as simple as that. Get connected and get plugged in because life is better when we do things together. Don't hold back what you have and keep it to yourself. Don't unplug yourself and not shine that light. Be connected, be plugged in, and shine your light together. Because here's the thing as we close today. The last thing is this. We have a choice. Whether we're going to be stranded on our own, not fulfilling our purpose, not being better ourselves, not helping others, or we can be stranded together in unity. And the best way to be stranded together is to be stranded together in Jesus and connected to Him. Let's pray. God, I thank you for your words to us today. I thank you for your love for us, and that, God, you offer us a place to come home and to rest in you. A place where we belong, a place where we can be connected, a place where we can be at peace. And I know that there may be some of you here today that haven't experienced that. You don't even know what I'm talking about because you've never connected and plugged into Jesus. You've never started a relationship with him. You don't know what that looks like. And I'm here to tell you that that Jesus that we've been talking about, that was born on Christmas, that lived his life and died on the cross for things that he was accused of that he didn't do, those were things that you and I did. And he died for us to pay the penalty, to pay the price. But it doesn't end there because he rose again and he conquered death and hell to give us life eternally, and you can have that today. And so if you're here and you don't know that and you want to have that connectedness to Jesus, you want to have that hope and promise of eternal life, I just want you to pray this prayer with me. Jesus, I thank you for what you went through for me. Thank you for dying for me so that I don't have to. I ask you to forgive me and ask you to be my friend and be my leader. I thank you for your love. I receive your gift today. Make me new and give me hope. And God, for those of us that are here that maybe we've been plugged in and we keep fighting and wrestling and we get so busy and caught up in things that we unplug ourselves, I pray that this next few weeks as we head into Christmas, that we would keep in mind that it's all about you. And that all the other things that are good can be distractions. But we would intentionally spend time being plugged into you and rest in you and enjoy the peace that you bring to our lives in this time of sometimes chaos and the stresses and the overwhelmness. But God, we would dive into our relationship with you and be connected with you as we connect with those around us. And I thank you for that. I ask your blessing upon everyone that's here today. In Jesus' name. If you're here today, or maybe you're watching online and you prayed that prayer to receive Jesus for the first time, I want you to know that as you enter Christmas, that your life has changed and that Christmas should have now a new meaning for you as you have hope. And so if you prayed that prayer, I want you to let us know. You can take the connection card out that we talked about earlier and check the box that says, today I restarted a relationship with Jesus. Or if you have your phone, maybe you're watching online, you can text the word forgiven to the number 941-208-0078. That's the word forgiven to 941-208-0078. And we just want to connect with you, walk alongside you, let you know what's next, because life is better when we do things together. And for those of you that maybe are struggling to feel connected, Steve over the last couple of weeks has issued a challenge of spending 15 minutes a day for the next 15 weeks and starting a new habit. 5 minutes in Bible reading, 5 minutes in prayer, and 5 minutes in just listening. And if we can just take those few minutes to put aside the distractions and the noise, to connect and just be with Jesus, it's amazing the clarity and the answers that will come. I challenge you and encourage you to do that. Guys, we love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you all. Have a great afternoon.